Hello. Good afternoon. It is the Daily Live Extra. Sean Dyche has just done his press conference ahead of tomorrow's Merseyside derby. What a game it's shaping up to be. One for the ages, I'd say, Jack. There's so much talent on show from both sides that I feel like this could definitely be VHS special.
One for the ages in terms of like top 10 games that like make you lose sleep going into it. I'd say it's one of these games where, and it shouldn't be this way because one side is unfortunately much better than the other, but I don't think either fan base is particularly confident of their chances going into this. Them because, you know, they've got a big pressure title race going on. And us simply put, it's the Merseyside derby and we don't really win them, unfortunately. And we've got this little relegation thing going on the sides, just, you know, a little side project going on as well. But I try and take some goodwill from the fact that they're not confident about it. And I think maybe they know something we don't, and they're actually not that good of a team. But I think that's just their sort of downplaying themselves when it suits narrative that they like to do sometimes, because they like a bit of an underdog story. I don't think it's because there's actually a significant chance of us winning.
We'll see. Yeah, Sean Dyche done his press conference. Again, we didn't learn loads from it, did we? We know that Beto is not going to be available for this game or the Brentford game, but he should be back for the Luton game. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you'd imagine, would be fit. And then possibly Dan Juma might be sort of like the backup rather than... I can't see a situation that if Dom had to come off, it would be Chimiti. I think it'd be more likely to be Dan Juma. But he'll start. Dom will start. No Seamus Coleman, which again makes the right back position between Ashley Young and Ben Godfrey. So that's it. I mean, we sort of knew all that pretty much anyway, I'd imagine. So it's no real surprises. Jota's missing for them, which is...
It's a big advantage for us.
That's good for us because I actually think he's like literally their best player in terms of front of goal. He is clinical. He is like where the other lot are really good. Don't get me wrong.
He's their best finisher, but I wouldn't say he's not their most prolific attacker, is he? Because obviously, you know, Salah, I wouldn't say he's limited, obviously, but he's not a one-trick pony either. But he does what he's good at, and he doesn't really do much outside of that. And he can miss chances, but, you know, overall, his output's still high. But he's not been in his greatest form as of late either. You know, Jota has been the one for them who's been getting the goals. And if he's not available, it is a big lift for us. And, having Dom likely available is big because I don't think he'd necessarily trust Chimiti starting in a game like that. Dan Juma isn't an out-and-out striker, so having Dom available is good for us. Funny thing about Chimiti, he did bring him on in the last derby off the bench, and he's had some minutes, you know, in key moments off the bench for us. I don't think he'd trust him starting because he's not trusted him all season, so I don't see why he'd start now. But it wouldn't surprise me to see him get minutes off the bench, to be honest.
No, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he's more like for like than not certainly Dan Juma is, but I don't know if he would trust him for, say, 30 minutes like he has with Beto. You know, if Dom had to come off, but, you know, Dom comes back. Dom probably will play, obviously, closer to maybe 75, 80 minutes rather than play the full 90 or play certainly, but 60. Because obviously they have to make sure that's where the beauty of having Beto was that you could take Dom out and you didn't push him that hard. And obviously there's a game on Saturday as well, which is massively important as well. And Everton, and they'll know. Listen, they'll know that. And that's the disappointing thing of having no Beto. And that's where Beto is saved. It's probably this season in a way, or just having another striker, is that Dom coming back from injuries. He's not had to push himself to the point where, and we saw that at Chelsea, even though obviously the result was terrible. We saw that at Chelsea where it wasn't all doom and gloom because Dom maybe at another time could have played that game, but may have got injured during the game. But he didn't play. I played no part in it because we did have Beto. So that's the only downside of not having him for these two games.
He's not had to play through injuries at any point this season, Dom, has he? Because we've got the option of Beto there, who is similar in ways to Dom in terms of his stature, so we don't have to change our style of play like we did when we had Maupay here he just couldn't do the things that Dom could do. So it was almost just like having 10 men on the pitch, even if he wasn't that bad of a player. He just didn't fit what we were trying to do. It's yeah, it will affect us going into the weekend if, you know, Dom is fit to play, but he's maybe not 100% because he hasn't trained as hard the last 2 days, but he's had a little bit of a knock. That then, you know, playing tomorrow affects his fitness going into the weekend, and you are getting back into that territory if you're playing him when he's not quite 100% there. It's not the same as asking him to push through like a muscle injury or something like that you can aggravate. He just had a knock on the weekend, an impact injury. But it's just if his training's not been at the highest level because he's, you know, they've wanted to just keep him steady, but then he's going to be playing 2 games in the space of about 5 days. You are getting back into that uncomfortable territory with Dom, and you're just hoping that, you know, the reduced schedule he's been afforded this season, because we have actually for once had a backup striker who we actually trust and are happy to bring on for him or happy to rest on for. You're hoping that's allowed him to build up enough fitness and enough, you know, trust within his own body as well, because I think that's half the battle with Dom. I think half of it he probably gets in his own head about even needing to push through or worrying about pushing through and hurting himself. Hopefully, regardless of what the result is tomorrow, Dom will be fit for the weekend as well, because it's looking like Beto will be unavailable for that as well.
Well, he will be unavailable. It comes down to the protocol, doesn't it? Concussion, which used to be, by the way, used to be 3 weeks, the concussion protocol. So I think it's certainly now a week or whatever after being assessed, so he'll be out. But no, Dom, it was only a knock rather than like the hamstrings or anything, which is massively important. So Dom will be available, I imagine. It's just getting through one game at a time. I can't imagine Dom won't be training to that level anyway. A lot of them won't be training to that level anyway. This kind of time of the season, recoveries is as just important as training. The fit, they'll go through all the training stuff as in like set piece plans and shape and all that, but actually high intensity training, I don't think it really is a big thing at this type of season. You come to the end now, you're as fit as you've
built your fitness up.
You're as fit as you can be.
You?
Really, whether people think that's fit enough, that's a different thing. But you are as fit as you can be, so it's not no one would definitely not be getting pushed massively at this part of the season. And if there is any issues, then you go in the gym and you wouldn't be doing a lot of the whatever it is anyway. I mean, so he'll start tomorrow, as I said, and it'll be interesting, the team tomorrow. I mean, we will be doing more on this in the preview, but it will be interesting because he does have the likes of James Garner, like someone just mentioned it here in the comments about possibly giving Simon says, ironically enough, got to be worth giving Garner a go at right back. He's played there before and would be a solid job. I just think for me the pace. Probably you would go for Ben Godfrey just because of the pace. I'd go for him. I
think for me as well, I don't particularly trust Ben Godfrey, but he's played at right back more recently than Garner has as well. It's maybe not the game would be bringing Garner back into a role he's not the most familiar with. It's a good shout and one I think you definitely have to consider while Patterson and Coleman are both out, and you know you don't really want to play Young in this game because we've seen he had a tough time against them earlier in the season, and you know we don't have to get into what happened over the weekends, but you know Godfrey right now probably is the leading choice, and if Godfrey's ever your leading choice, you do need to look at your other options, and James Garner certainly is one of them.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, we lose 2 right backs against Chelsea, and you've got it now. The backups are there, and Ben Godfrey, I think pace wise, can cope. It's just more. I do worry about him in the air, but it's maybe set pieces like Van Dijk and Darwin Núñez are going to give you trouble off set pieces, but we should have enough. But then we've said that before and we haven't coped. So I just think, you're Ashley Young, after all the noise at the weekend, they'll target him, and I'd definitely go for Ben Godfrey. But
I just think as well, you'd massively be tempting fate because you're playing Liverpool in a big game. You've got Ashley Young, who, and look, he's entitled to speak his mind and say what he wants to say, but because he's had a little laugh on social media, the Justin Timberlake thing, it just sets the stage for the most peak Everton event of all time. I think if you play him tomorrow, it's you can just see the quote tweets on that tweet just flying up by the second if he plays on Wednesday and something bad happens.
Yeah. I think we'll have a change in midfield as well. I think I don't think Andre Gomes will play in this game. I just don't think it's the game for him. I think we're more likely bringing up. It'll probably be James Garner.
I think Garner,
because I think he's made his mind up about Onana, and that'll make a lot of people happy. A few people saying giving Chimiti a go. Not a chance would I have Chimiti anywhere near the starting lineup of a Merseyside derby. I don't think he's done anything to. People are saying give him a go. I don't think he's done anything to prove that he's anywhere near ready.
I think he had an okay cameo the other day, but it's a decent cameo when you win and against Forest.
You're talking about a game.
Difference.
You're talking about a game where your outball to keep the pressure down has to stay up the other end. It has to, and I just don't think there's anywhere near. I don't think Schmitty's got anywhere near the level of ability to take on someone like Virgil van Dijk in the air and keep the ball at the other end and allow people to join in. Whereas Dom is, we know that's one of Dom's big.
He's got a bit more savvy, Dom, hasn't he? Because it's your experience, it's your playing in the Premier League week after week. It's just something that comes with age. And Chimiti is obviously a young lad learning his trade. And I'd really like, not tomorrow obviously, but maybe in the near future, I'd like to see Chimiti in a 2. Maybe with Dom, because I think he's probably more suited out of any of our strikers other than maybe Danjuma, if you want to count him, to playing in that role a little bit off the striker and doing the running and attacking different areas of the defence where you've got one who stays central and a bit more static. Then you've got your runner causing a bit of chaos, maybe trying to make runs behind the centre half. I think he's probably more suited to that than Dom or Beto is, but we've not really seen him in that role all that often.
We haven't given him an opportunity, have we? We haven't had time to bed them into any kind of system yet, or give them enough time off the bench, other than just like small cameos where it's just like basically go and do what Dom's just done and win the ball in the air and stuff. So no, he's not ready for a Merseyside derby, not a chance. It's just a young lad who hasn't had enough game time, and Merseyside derby's just not the environment to bring someone like that, because you can imagine after like 10-15 minutes or any time in the game when you're under the caution, you've got a forward who's not winning the outball or who's not doing
Sims last year.
Yeah, exactly. Ball will just come back, and the pressure on the kid then becomes huge. So it will be Dom, and if it's not Dom, I imagine it would be Danjuma for a different kind of, because Danjuma would run over the top. No. Sims last year there was nobody else either, was there? Let's be honest, there was nobody else.
No, I understand playing him, but the performance was predictable, not because of anything Sims done wrong. He just hadn't had anywhere near that experience.
And you're playing
at that
against top class players as well. You're playing against players who are at the very highest level. Virgil van Dijk is an unbelievable player who plays lots of his games with just his slippers on.
But it's not even just that, though. It's the occasion. The occasion is just as important when it comes to when you're putting a young player in. If you've never played in a game anywhere close to that magnitude, that's going to affect your performance massively as well, before you even factor in, the ability of the opposition.
By the way, Ellis Sims did play in the derby, and he was terrible. Right? He was terrible. Let's not rewrite history here. He was terrible. I've seen loads of young players play in Merseyside derbies, and the amount who've actually done anything anywhere near worthwhile is about like 2. Danny Cadamartri and even Wayne in his first period didn't really do anything in derbies. It's a tough environment, and when you're an Everton team that really struggles to create opportunities, you don't want lots and lots of pressure on you, because with class players, it will count. It will count, and no, not for me. Nowhere near ready to start games. Nowhere near. So it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and if it's not Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it's Danjuma for me. Before we even think about it. So, but let's hope it is Dom, and let's hope he can. There's no reason why he wouldn't wouldn't be able to play the 2 games anyway if he's managed off. It's not like he's been limping through games. He goes off after an hour because we've got another centre forward. But who knows what he's actually capable of? But
we know the manager's protective of him when he can be, but it's when he can be, and he's got Beto raring to go, and you don't lose much by taking him off, and you've got an option that you trust. We don't really have that at the moment, but we have been so safe with him that I think we can afford to leave him out a little bit longer, or expect him to play 2 games in the space of a few days, and at least be able to hope that it'll be okay and understand that you're not taking a massive risk. Because let's be honest, he doesn't do the most running anyway in this system, because he has to be so stationary. It's not a tireless midfielder role where you don't stop running all game, and you're asking them to play back to back 90 minutes in the space of a few days.
We'll see what happens. I'm just on the comments, loads of people talking about Chimiti like he's some kind of world beater. I don't quite get it. I just don't quite get it at all. Would you start Lewis Warrington in the derby tomorrow?
I have seen a few Lewis Warrington shouts over the last week.
I just don't really quite. I just don't get it. Why people are so infused about playing him? Is it that old syndrome of players get better because you don't really see them play? You know what I mean?
And he looked okay in a brief period.
Yeah, in 5 minutes where he just
But, look, I like the look at Chimiti, and I think he does have something to potentially give this team, and I'm not against seeing him get more minutes. And, if Beto's not available for the weekend and, we need to make a change after an hour and we feel comfortable making it, bring Chimiti on, give him that period. But this just comes a little bit too soon for me. Yeah. And the thing is, Dom's available by the look of things, and if Dom's available, Dom plays.
And don't forget, it is a really important game. This is not we're not just throwing this game away. It's not just a game it's a Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. It's not a game we're just going to go, don't worry about it, lads. It's a really important game, this. If Everton can get any kind of result out of it, it's really important. It's not a case of just going, well, this game doesn't matter. It does matter. It matters to everybody who's going to be in that ground, and everyone who's not going to be in that ground. The eyes of the world are on us.
And don't forget as well how much a heavy, embarrassing derby defeat can linger over a team and over a fan base. And, we've built up a little bit of goodwill somehow over the last week because of the Forest win, and I think a big part of that as well was the attitude of the fans and the willingness of the fans, and the 1878s to put on such a great display, and to try and get behind the team even when we weren't winning has played a massive part in that. That can very quickly go away if we get absolutely trounced by Liverpool tomorrow, because the atmosphere changes like that, the story changes like that. You've suddenly been on the wrong end of an embarrassing defeat by your biggest rivals in a big game. Avoiding defeat is, and I don't want to be defeatist mentality going into this, but first and foremost, we need to avoid that.
Yeah, exactly. But that's it, isn't it? That's the first thing you're looking for. You're thinking, can we get a point? We're playing against a team who are chasing the league. Forget about who it is. If it was Man City coming to Goodison, if it was Arsenal coming to Goodison, you think about the same things. Can we get through this game? Can we get something out of this game? Then you add that it's the derby. There can't be any shortcuts. There can't be there can't be anything else. It has to be. We put out what our best team is. We can't be like, well, we'll save the team for Brentford. Well, Brentford's not a gimme either, is it? So,
well, no. The worst thing we could do is rotate players for this game and get beaten, then put our strong team out for Brentford and get beat again.
You play the game that's ahead of you, and it's the derby, and that's why Dominic Calvert-Lewin must start. And if he's all right, then he'll start Saturday, and that's it. That's the end of it. The idea of Chimiti starting is just those suggestions are mind blowing. If I'm honest, they're absolutely mind blowing. That anyone would suggest that.
I think if all three were available, I'd say start Dom. There's two available, and Dom's one of them, so it's start Dom for me.
Yeah. Of course, it's got to be starting Dom. I honestly don't see any other world where we if he's fit, then he has to start for me. It's as simple as that. And then if he doesn't start, it's more likely to be Dan Juma. I think. And this idea that Dominic Calvert-Lewin's not fully fit, by the way, where's that come from? I know the manager said he got a knock on Saturday. He got a knock.
It's just because of the years of and ahhing with Dom, isn't it? Where, you know, he gets a knock and he plays through it. I think people are just a little bit reminded of that. And I get that, because we don't want to lose him to injury.
If it was a hamstring injury, I'd be like, you've got to be careful.
But you've got to remember the specifics, haven't you? Where an impact injury is enough to, you know, it can end your day, and you feel a bit of pain in your knee, but, you know, it's not an injury. You've not actually damaged your body. You've just took a knock. There's a difference between pulling your thigh.
Yeah. As I said, it will be under pressure for a large amount of this game, and you need an out ball. You need somebody who it goes to and it sticks. Simple as that. So very, very tough game, and we know that. We know what it's going to be like. But I'm quite relaxed about it at the moment, because the way I think about it is like, it's a massive game for them as well. It's a game where the result is not about the bragging rights. It's about actually where we are. Where we are in the table.
Does being relaxed over Merseyside derbies come with age, or is it just?
No, I think because I've just seen that many games that I think, well, what's the worst? What genuinely is the worst that can happen? I've seen us being beat at Wembley in a semi-final by an absolutely terrible team. I've seen us lose 4-0, 5-0. Not that, you know, very recently. I've seen us go into derbies where you're expecting to be absolutely destroyed and you get a result. It doesn't. And also, I just don't, you know, if you're worried about like what Liverpool fans are going to say to you or the abuse you're going to get, I just look at the table. That's all the abuse anyone ever needs.
I don't care about any of that, but I just don't enjoy them. It just stings a little bit different when you go a goal down against them in the moment. I don't care about the after effects, the bragging rights, whatever, because I can move on with my day pretty easily in terms of that. But just watching the game in the moment, the nerves you feel watching it are just a little bit more on edge than it would be in other games. And I get it's different for everyone, but conceding a goal at any time is horrible, but conceding a goal to them feels like a punch in the gut.
Yeah, no, I get what it just doesn't bother me anymore. It really doesn't. It just doesn't. You play the game, and then you of course, this game being so close to the end of the season, you just hope you get something out of it. Of course, if losing at this stage of the season is not great, but you just move through it. You just get through it, and then the next game is Saturday, so you can get onto the next one, quickly. A lot of the derbies recently, I've forgotten about them within 24 hours. I really have. And the ones, to be honest, recently we've done all right at home. We've got a point. I know we got beat obviously under. Sometimes it's like it all piles on. When we got beat by when we had Benitez, it was just, you just feel like it's part of what it is. You're getting beat, you're getting destroyed. There's nothing. We were terrible anyway. We were on a bad run, so it's part of it. The one that really stung was the other one that we lost, which was Mane. The one just before Christmas, and it was in the last minute. That obviously really did. Yeah. That really did sting. But our expectations are get a draw, isn't it? The expectations are get a result, and a result tomorrow would be.
Let's massive. Look at the last few runs of derbies, though. After the Benitez one, where they beat us at home, and I was at that game, and it was a horrible game. Next, you had when we went there at Anfield under Lampard, and they beat us, but we got a bit unlucky with refereeing decisions.
Yeah,
we had
got something to moan about.
And we had that next one under Lampard at home at Goodison 0-0, I believe, and it was a decent performance for us. It's probably our last decent performance under Lampard before he was sacked. After that, we had. Why can't I remember the one under Dyche?
That was poor.
That was poor. We hit the bar off a corner. They got the other end and scored, and
Pickford basically just win.
Yeah, and that felt a little bit typical Everton. After that, we had the most recent one where again we were beat and we weren't great, but again the refereeing decisions had a big impact on the game. They should have had a man sent off at 0-0, and that could have changed the makeup of the game. So overall, our recent derby performances, haven't been that bad. There's always a chance we can get a point from these games. But that operates on a knife edge for us because we need to be at our best and we need a little bit of luck as well, or to avoid bad luck more so. And that's a difficult window to operate in, where you count on getting a slice of luck or avoiding, the ball not dropping your way. You're up against it from the start, then, aren't you? Because it's always better going into a game where you don't have to rely on luck, you don't have to rely on the other team not quite being at the races. It's not a worry over, if this referee gets the decision wrong, because it won't matter. That's a much more comfortable window to operate in. And that's the window they typically operate in as well.
In a derby, ultimately, you need now obviously we're going to be the poorer side, so you do need those ref decisions to go for you. And they haven't had them in the last couple of derbies there, and that's all you can hope for, isn't it? And that's again with everything that's going on at the moment with the refereeing decisions. You hope there'll be big emphasis on getting every decision right, which, listen, may not be always good for us either, though, because again with VAR and stuff and the way football is now, in the old days, when you was about getting the first tackling and all that kind of thing, it's now they're a lot fairer, and that will give the advantage to the better side, which clearly is Liverpool. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I just going back to it, I think Dom will be fine. I think the manager was laying it a bit thick, by the way, there. I think he was being a bit like, oh wait, if he was out, he would have said he was out. So I think people are laying that on a little bit, that need to know what the manager's saying. But it'll be, of course, it'll be a difficult game, but we'll make it difficult for them, because they'll have to try and break us down, and they haven't been massively effective in front of goal. They make a lot of chances, but they've been given, their XG or whatever hasn't been great. Diego Jota coming back for them, giving that little bit of boost because he's very, very clinical, but he's out now. So, we know that they're a very, very good side, and every one of our players is going to have to be at their best. And Branthwaite's going to be another test for him, and he's going to have to be at his best. So, it's Dyche's first derby as well at Goodison, isn't it? Which makes it very interesting.
Oh yeah. Sad to at Anfield, hasn't he?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting, and the atmosphere as well. Doing what we did on Sunday, having the flags and all that kind of thing, and just getting ourselves. That can be good, that kind of stuff as well, because that can be a bit of a distraction for the crowd as well before the game. Thinking about stuff like that rather than not focusing on the actual game is a big thing as well. And listen, whatever happens, you know what I mean? It's not a freebie, and it will at Merseyside Derby never be a freebie. But it's one of 3 games this week. We've won the first game. We can get something out of this, then that would be huge. And then we'd go on to Brentford and hopefully try and get another positive result, because obviously that won't be an easy game, because they're quite relaxed. They're safe, and we'll go from there. But he didn't really say anything else, did he? I'm trying to think of anything else he said.
No, he
didn't really get into anything, did he?
That's a little pop at Michalenko for assuming he'll play at the weekend, but who else is going to play?
Yeah, he'll play.
And yeah, that was it really. He didn't really say much about. He was asked about the Forest thing, wasn't he? And he said it's not really any of his business.
Yeah.
You'd think if he's going to be 10, 15 minutes late, come in with something like spicy.
What would have been good? If he'd come into the press conference wearing a suit. Changed it up a little bit, because he did.
Half suit, half tracky.
Yeah, or
like Two-Face.
Or he was sitting there. He was already there when everyone arrived, and he had a suit on the top half, and then when he walked out, everyone just went.
You see him get up to leave, and he's just in his undies.
The shortest shorts you could ever find, and everyone be like, and then everyone starts writing about that then, and they forget about like what's being said and the fact that it's a derby, and
then we have a big flag tomorrow with Dyche in his undies and that, and then like. Or the Liverpool players are looking at that going, what the hell
exactly, yeah. Everyone,
you
took everyone's mind away from it then. Big flag coming down the park and says Sean Dyche's big undies, rather than Howard Kendall's big undies flag, which is still very weird. But you change the feel, change the feel.
Change the story.
Change the story, you change the feel. You know, it's on the guy.
Reminds me of when I was in school, I had a PE teacher, and he said he used to do like competitive running and that. And he was teaching us about, you know, like sport and law and everything.
Yeah.
He said, what's the difference between something that's unethical but not against the rules
Yeah.
and something that is? And then he said, for something that's not against the rules but it's not very ethical, I used to wear these big pink fluffy socks.
Oh, yeah.
So when we were all getting ready to sprint, every time at least one person would turn and look at his socks and be distracted.
Controversial.
So maybe we need to find our own version of that, which is a big flag with Dyche's undies on.
Or someone just said here in the comments, TL, what about a tuxedo t-shirt?
Ah.
Like they wore in Step Brothers. I like
what
that.
about? Like he's in like a dead fine, like nice black suit, and then he's just got like a Toffee TV hoodie underneath,
No, I
like
can't
a blazer.
imagine that.
And that,
Or,
you know, like
or a nice suit, but actually it's got poppers on it. So you can just like pull it off.
oh,
And underneath it is just like his training gear. He comes out in it, everyone's like, Dyche is back in the suit. But
like the tearaway
and then he
pants.
goes, like in basketball games, and then he just goes, and next minute he's wearing all the training gear, and it's like, he's done us.
It rips the top open.
What a genius
Hulk
this
Hogan.
man is. Maybe he is the Messiah, and he's just like done everybody in one go.
Ripping the top like Hulk Hogan. Dyche mania, running wild.
Crazy times. Crazy times.
It's the modern world.
It is. Let's have a look at some of our comments. Alex says, afternoon, lads. Haven't seen anything about elsewhere, but personally, Gibbs White was very lucky on Sunday. Yeah, the ball was there to be won, but he was late and ultimately endangered the opponents as soon as shown with the injury Beto suffered. A foul wasn't even given, let alone a card for Gibbs White, unless I'm way off the mark. It was a shocking decision from Taylor and VAR, but nobody seems to be talking about it, particularly when the player was knocked out. If Gibbs had been late like that and injured a player in a tackle on the ground, it would have been a foul and at least a yellow. Shouldn't have been any different just because we were competing the ball in the air. I'll be honest, Alex, I haven't looked at that close enough because every time your eyes are just, you're looking at better, aren't you? So I thought the one on Brantway was pretty bad as well. The one where someone's done him on the ankle.
I think with the better one, I get what you're saying, but I think it's hard to police overall in terms of when is it too late for a player to jump for a ball. And I think you go down a bad road there of, you know, potentially penalising players for trying to win a header. I get what you're saying, but I just think it happens too infrequently and it's too hard to judge to, you know, make a specific rule against it. He's not tried to endanger a player. He's ended up through, you know, no fault of his own, just a clash of heads hitting him.
Yeah, it is what it is.
And I say that as someone who doesn't particularly like Morgan Gibbs White. So
good player though.
You're a very good player.
Good player. Won't beat the Forest at very long, I think. That ball he played for what would have been, well, the penalty. There you go. Michael Rafferty says, wow, always watch him thinking he will tell us something different and feel more confused afterwards. Nobody else can do that. Nobody else can do that then. Yeah, you watch the press conferences and it's all management speak, isn't it? Jonathan Rickard says, I would start Shimiti and Danjuma and go 5-3-2. Some of these Shimiti shouts I've usually been thinking the same, like unfiltered water or something. What's going on?
Juice.
Chris Byrne says, absolute robbery in that William Hill video. Your five-a-side batters the Copites five-a-side ped. Yeah, go and check that out. The video I've done. William Hill. It's good. It's a good little derby, little chat. Me and a Red from London, of course. And we have to put a five-a-side team in, and my five-a-side team is pretty damn good.
Who did you have?
I can't tell, can't reveal. You have to watch the video.
I just want to know.
No, you have to watch the video.
Ned, who does he have?
No, he doesn't know either.
Has he not watched the video?
Only a bit.
No. You got to watch the video. You got to find out. You got to have the views. Listen. If I'm going to be as big as Mark Goldbridge, I need people to watch videos. Otherwise, then what's the point?
You need the clicks, don't
You
you?
need the clicks, mate.
Well, let's get you in front of like a laptop watching every game. Give up the season ticket.
Basically,
We'll get you in front of the laptop and we'll get you shouting obscenities.
I'll call myself
Steve Blacksmith.
Yeah, Steve Blacksmith. I like that name. That sounds a good, solid name. Steve Blacksmith, and I'm going to support Chelsea. I'm going to go big time. I'll just,
Oh, no.
go on about the Reform Party or something.
Steve Silverpath. Goldbridge.
See, I like Blacksmith because it's like feels very like British.
It stands on its own.
Feels very British and feels like that's what we've lost.
Yeah,
that's when Britain was great, when we had blacksmiths.
So you're gonna come in with the sort.
I'm gonna be in the Reform. I'm gonna be in the Reform Party.
Oh, like that.
Be like,
Papa Pincus individual.
I'm gonna be like, that's when bring back. We don't need any of this modern fancy technology. Just bring back the horse and cart and mud in the street.
We used to be a proper country.
Yeah, when we were a proper country.
We used to throw our toilet waste out the window.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need rivers of shit. We need literally. No one could get, and that's it. See, no one could get into our country on a boat if the water's just full of turds. Could they? Know what I'm saying? The first barrier of getting into this country would be getting through the river of shit. That's going to be amazing. The channel, halfway across the channel, it would be on one side.
Diarrhea, turn the boat around.
On one side, it's just like Evian, and then you get into British waters when you just see shit everywhere and just toilet paper.
I can smell the British.
And you're just like, oh, this is what we've come for. We've come all this way.
I like this persona we're building. You,
we're tremendous, mate. This guy, if you can get through the rivers of shit, you deserve to be in our country. You can be a citizen of Great Britain if you get through the rivers of shit.
I'm glad this is on Premiere.
Yeah, it's not. It's on YouTube.
Oh, I thought it was on Patreon.
No.
Well, this is going to get taken out of context.
It's cement. I don't mind. That'll get the persona even better. Yeah, and the streets are paved with lead. That's what Britain's all about. The streets are paved with lead, and you come here and you scoop horse manure off the streets, and it's all good. It's all good. That's the Britain I want back. That's the great Britain that I want back. That's what we want. The rivers are shit.
This is taking a turn.
That's it. That's what I want.
What?
What's that, Ned? Please
say it again.
Please say that again. Fair enough. Ned just said something, but there you go. Yeah, honestly, fat bags everywhere we want as well. That's Great Britain. Great Britain represented by fat bags. Who can climb the
fat bag?
Who can climb the highest fat bag? Do you know what a fat bag is?
No.
So because people just put like oil down the sink and stuff because they're idiots. Right, so all the shite gathers in the sewers, and creates a fat bag.
Oh, just like a mound of
everything. So what they have to do over time is go down with like a jet wash and just literally destroy it with a jet wash and break it all down.
Is that what you do on like your power wash game?
Yeah, that's not been added yet, but in my Great Britain, that's what we'll have, Power Wash UK edition, and it'll just be going down to the fat bags and the entertainment. In fact, I'll bring it into reality. It'll be like a theme park for young children. Young children will take 3 days out of school to go and clear the fat bags and also work down the mines as well. I said fat bags, not fat birds.
That's what I thought you said.
No, fat bags. And they'll go down there and and we'll make and also, we're losing out to the Chinese market. So we're going to get 6-year-olds into the factories.
Right, let's move this on.
Making ons for Ned.
Before this goes someplace bad.
Yeah, there you go. You ain't British if you ain't swimming in shit. That's what I say. There you go. That's my persona.
Okay.
That very much is that persona.
This is what the fear of the Derby game's done to Ped. You've turned him crazy.
I'm all right. Derek says, thinking about the Derby from earlier in the year, which I understand feels like ages ago. We did go at them, and it should have been a different game. Patterson at the post, the phantom red card on Konate. Let's get after them. It's right.
We were unlucky that day.
Yeah.
We've been unlucky in a few derbies.
Yeah.
There was the one when we came back after lockdown, Ancelotti at Goodison, no crowd, and Davis at the post in the last minute.
Yeah.
There's been so many over the years where we've
first COVID derby.
A little bit away.
Steve P says, for all these people who say these players are incapable of playing football and can't play any better, please go and watch the build-up for the second goal. I can't get my head around why we can't just do that every week instead of just hoofing it up the pitch or putting the pointless floating balls into the box. Every time we get it when it's literally proved not to work. The only time we've looked decent is when we play it on the floor and get a movement. Yet we've only done it a few times in the whole season. Also very evident that McNeil isn't a winger, and he's cleared his centre mid. Doesn't have a single attribute for a modern winger. He's originally a centre mid anyway. He's too slow as a winger, but he wouldn't be slow for a centre mid if that makes sense. Someone who actually reminds me of Timu Rabiot, who's also very one-footed. Fair play, Steve.
Just to address the first part of your question, the reason we don't do it all the time is because you need to do something a little bit different every time. Every time you try and put a move together, something, even if it's just a small aspect of it, will change every time. And I just don't think this manager is concerned with putting in the time to develop all these different passages of play and, getting these players to develop the on-the-pitch relationships where they can make those snap judgments like we seen Decore do with the 1-2. Little instances like that, but from all the midfielders all the time through a game. I don't think the players are smart or brave enough to do that, and I don't think the manager is committed to getting them to a point where they are smart and brave enough to do that. But it's a shame because we can do it, and it shows we'll never beat Man City, we'll never beat Barcelona, but we can actually play football, because what we've been doing for the last few months is only very loosely described as football.
Yeah. No, it was a good little move that when you take it back to the start. Branthwaite was massively important in that a couple of times during the move, wasn't he? But it takes bravery to play like that. You need bravery. You need to be encouraged. And yeah, McNeil, yeah, said yesterday, we talked about it yesterday, being so one-footed cuts down where you can play on a pitch. And we do try and get him in a lot of central areas. And as I said, if we had a fullback who got up and down that left-hand side, no issue with what McNeil does. It just leaves us a little bit exposed at times. Anthony says, I'll take a point now. Glenn says, question for me, when did Rooney call you a lovely ginger twit? He didn't call me that. He just, when we were in Washington, he just was asking where I was, and then because when he seen Baz first of all, and then he said something probably even worse about Ned, so which is understandable in his presence.
Yeah, we've all done it.
Chris Burns says, I'm watching the game tomorrow with a group of Evertonians in London. It's basically group therapy for us at that point. Absolutely. And that's going back to the McNeil thing, not having a go at Michalenko for that, by the way. He's probably told
his style,
he's probably told where to go or how far up the pitch to go, basically. And that's it. It's all a part of the way you play and the plays you've got.
The team.
Maybe he is. I don't know. Imagine he was picking the team.
I mean, it'd be interesting.
Imagine if Dyche was just like some kind of weird spokesperson for the club, but he wasn't really the manager.
He's just face of the operation.
Very much so. I'm trying to think of there's been films and stuff where like kids have been running something and then they just get old Grandpa Joe to be the face of it.
He's
say you're the boss, but really us kids behind the scenes are doing everything.
This is acting CEO Charles Xavier, but real it's little Timmy behind the scenes. He's like
just a genius. David Gilbert's a speedo Dyche. That's a terrible thing to think about.
Bad image. Stop it.
JB says, I think it's more to do with not risking Dom getting injured when we got more chance of beating Brentford and Luton with Dom in the team. I don't know if you can always do that though. If Dom is fit to play, then you play him. If he's got a hamstring problem, then you don't play him like the Chelsea game. I get that. But I don't think he has got a hamstring injury. I think he's got a knock, which means
an impact injury shouldn't worsen.
Yeah, it's pain, isn't it? If he can train, then he can play.
Whereas a muscle injury, it's actually limiting how much you can use that part of your body, and it can get worse, and then the recovery.
And if you can't play, you play Michael Keane.
We don't play Michael Keane.
Mark says in school, if you forgot your PE kit, you had to do PE in your undies. How was that allowed? I know. Imagine that now. That's like proper sinister. That isn't
be
it?
Breaking a lot of like safeguarding laws.
If I ever forgot my PE kit, and I think this was almost like a school rule, you always checked the lost property first. Yeah. And it's like, so you're wearing someone else's clobber, which is...
It just has a horrible smell, that cupboard. But remember, in my school,
musky.
Remember, someone stole my PE kit, never found out who it was. But so I just started with a pair of shorts and just like a black night top. I got by in that, but then on me like end of year report, it was he wrote, Jack needs to buy a PE kit to unlock his full potential. So like my poor mother buys me one for the next year of school, and then my grade doesn't get any better the next year. So like potential.
That's mad that you need a PE kit to unlock. Like, what if you were like poverty stricken? That's harsh.
Yeah, to advance to level 2, you require PE.
Yeah, you've got that's mad. Ned, you know what? Ned. I feel like Ned would go around robbing people's kits because he didn't have them, and his mum and dad wouldn't buy them for him. So he.
Mum, I got a pair of shorts today.
I can imagine.
You know the rules, Ned. You forget your PE kit, we take the lesson in my...
No, but the thing about you, Ned, is I can imagine you literally taking other people's gear and just wearing it around all the time, because the amount of different pairs of shoes you've came in here in that aren't your shoes, that gives me the thing of like, you just go, oh, I like those, I like that t-shirt you've got on. Lad takes it off for PE, or he's doing PE in it. Where's me to kick on? And there's you walking out like that. Big smile on your face, not asked that you've literally stolen someone's top.
He used to take match attacks, but not clothes.
Yeah, well, there you go. He's a thief. He also says Dyche on the sidelines in his undies has to be away the way standing on the halfway line watching the shite warm up. Imagine him with his undies, but the shirt's hooked into the undies, and the shirt comes out to the bottom of the undies a little bit.
Oh. He's got like the shirt and tie on still.
Conrad Cole says, have heard the 777 team are working 12-hour double shifts. One lot go around looking for loose change and dump sofas, and the other lot using metal detectors looking for buried treasure. Each group swap jobs with each other to keep it fresh. It would seem that way. Benjamin James says wouldn't start your He would start Onana and have the same work ethic as the Forest game. Would have a draw right now. David Gilbert says great shitting. That's the name of the country. Brian says just watched episode 8 of Shogun. What a show. What a show it is. Tananga Sama for our next manager. It is what a show Shogun is. Episode 9 it's tonight, I think, is it? Or episode 10 tonight, is it? Oh, it's unbelievable. Derek Cummins says, are we going to win? Unlikely. Can we win? Of course. Can anyone beat anyone on the day? Yeah, there you go. I mean,
wise words.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like you've just got that out of a fortune cookie.
Or like a Karate Kid movie, but like one of like the 7th installment. It's like a remake.
They've run out of things like really motivating quotes, so they go, "Can you win?"
It's like you might win.
Can you win? Maybe. Will you win? Maybe. Will you try? That is the question.
Rocky 8.
Yeah. Benjamin James says the seagulls have apparently been starting on nudists at the beach. Then the article said that gargantuan seagulls have been spotted in Liverpool, known as gullies, have been attacking people on their lunch break in the city centre. They've heard of you, Ned, and are prepared to bring the fight to you now.
Ned, you need to start firing back at them because they're on your turf now.
Tell them to join the queue.
And it's nearly seagull season as well.
Yeah.
It's nearly seagull season.
Ned, you need to get out there with like a lighter and a can of Lynx and look for these seagulls.
Chris Burns says, let's go full Ancelotti and go 4-4-2 diamond. Emma says used to have to do PE in your knickers vest when you forgot your kit as a kid. I know, it's so cruel. It's so absolutely cruel.
Maybe just have to do it in the shower.
Absolutely cruel. Dixie Dean says happy St. George's Day toffees and then loads of black flags like it's the end of time.
Does that emoji maybe not show on the YouTube chat or something? Maybe
you're watching Braveheart to celebrate. I like that, Ned. Watching Braveheart. I'm watching a film about
Scottish independence,
American independence,
and your premium actor.
Watching American independence
Shove
films.
Your premium actor up your ass. You're bald. Bit.
Your mic's turned on, isn't it?
Well, he hate the English.
Well, he's just
mate.
coughed down it, so I hope not.
No, stop coughing down the mic. Happy St. George's Day if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, fair play.
I'm actually not. I feel absolutely zero proud.
You
Proud.
drink Carlsberg.
But if you are,
Carlsberg
fair play to you.
Yeah, but if you are, fair play.
You wear Lonsdale vest.
I feel absolutely zero pride in being English. In fact, I don't even class myself as English. I class myself as being from the United Kingdom.
I class myself as being from L30. So
Fair
I feel
play
like
to you.
we're our own little group.
I mean, that's fair enough.
I'm non-country.
Fair play to you. That's the way you rock. That's the way you rock.
The independent kingdom of Everton.
Yeah, it is. Feels very independent. Independent from, certainly from the rest of Liverpool.
Civilization, mainly.
You know that.
No
you know
Wi-Fi
that.
signal.
That's it. That's what it's all about.
Got a big Asda.
I don't see no reason to celebrate.
Has he got a big ass there?
being
It's
English.
walking distance.
It's
to a
that's
big Asda.
entry.
Yeah, but it's like, you know how Northern Ireland, like a lot of their like economies based on people being able to get to the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah,
it's like that.
you crossed the boundaries
It's a trade deal.
for everybody. Yeah. What do ain't you get from you then?
Well, they get my money coming in and like buying like
So
you know, the brownie and cookie dough bites. Like they get my money for
But
that.
if they crossed over into your turf,
Oh, they
what
wouldn't be
could they get?
They wouldn't be welcome.
Okay, so it doesn't work both ways.
Well, the Switch Islands.
There's a lot of stories in the comments here about like bad experiences of PE. I can't really go into them because they do all sound absolutely horrific.
We had
Teachers watching kids getting dry and stuff.
we had a footy game once, and after the footy game, I'll not say who it was, but a teacher came in and looked in and went into the showers and was like checking if he was looking for someone. And one of the lads went, "What are you doing in here, sir?" And he just went, for a joke, I'm guessing.
Yeah, okay,
I was like, that's
fair
really
play,
weird.
Ned. Just the comments about like St. Patrick's Day. I don't think English people celebrate St. Patrick's Day as in like they celebrate it. They just get drunk.
They celebrate
it's an
it as a
excuse, isn't it?
reason to drink
celebrate.
And,
Yeah.
I don't think people celebrate the actual significance behind.
No,
St.
and I think that's
Patrick's
what
Day.
makes St. George's Day. It's like boring, isn't it?
It's the same now. It's the same as people who celebrate Christmas, but not for the religious reasons. They celebrate the commercialized, you know, the idea of celebrating Christmas rather than the importance of Christmas that it has to people. Whereas St. George's Day doesn't really have that same sort of going out party culture.
No.
It's more about the actual importance of the day than, say, St. Patrick's Day, at least to English people.
You're basically celebrating a Turkish fella fighting a dragon, which isn't real as well, which is fine.
What about if it was a Komodo dragon? They're real.
Yeah, they're real.
Nasty piece
If
of
people
work.
want to celebrate it, good luck to you. I say I
Any
can't.
excuse to celebrate.
I can't celebrate a country that is like this. There's no pride in England for me, but that's just me.
What about
you,
Greggs?
You do you. No, I don't like Greggs because they destroyed Sayers.
What about Sayers?
Sayers was a great Liverpool institution.
What about Sayers? It's part of this country.
Yeah, but it was a very much a Liverpool institution.
What about
Close email says you supporting the Euros. No, France. I'll be supporting in the Euros. There you go.
Okay.
So that's on genuinely who I'll be supporting.
I'm gonna pick,
I'm
gonna pick an outside like Denmark.
I find that a bit strange, to be honest.
Why?
Like, just like the idea of, I get if you don't like want to support England, but the idea of like picking a different team. Well,
No, because I like France. I like the country. I actually like France.
Yeah,
I really like France as a country. I love Paris. I love the French people. I love their attitudes, how they stand up for each other, and how they go on strike for anything. That's who I'd support. Italy, my Italian roots, of course, will be part of it as well. I have no interest in England. I don't mind them doing well because I actually like the players and what the players stand for.
I think you'd have an international fan, so you support an international team like we support Everton. But in England, I think the club.
I've said this a million times. I'm not really that. I'm not.
Big.
I hope it's a good tournament, and whoever wins wins.
My relationship to international football is I hope England do well, and I'm happy for England, but I don't lose sleep if
Not
they go out.
a moment. Like they got when they go out, they just go, oh well. And I said it before. I wanted Italy to win when they played Italy to win the Euros last time. So even when they were playing England, so
They have nice food, the Italians.
Yes, I'm the Saki's boss.
Italians.
I don't like cheese pasties. or paste. What was that?
Did Italy qualify?
Did they
won the last one, so
no, they had to qualify, and they did, didn't they?
Yeah, did they not go in?
No, it doesn't work like that.
Oh yeah, of course, because they were complaining about it, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if the shops are going to move. I'm sure the shops upstairs in the church there'll be somewhere for them at Bramley Moor. Maybe they'll get somewhere like some kind of thing for in the fan plaza or something, or maybe they'll go in the hydraulic tower or something. But no idea. But there you go. SR says, when I was a kid, if you forgot your towel, we had to jump up and down and dry in front of everyone. Oh my! See, I'm not being funny, right? If I forgot my towel, then I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, I'm not doing it. But how the world is mad though, isn't it? Like, when people go, how did anyone not see all these people in the 70s were all not very nice people?
But then you're
just like, yeah, remember school when you literally, if you forgot your kit, you had to do it in your underwear. And the teachers would stand over you, go, all this weird stuff. And don't forget, remember, like the idea, by the way, of going to school and a teacher could physically hit you, is absolutely nuts, isn't it? That was allowed. Like that is absolute madness.
Mad.
Now there's a question for you in the comments there. I won't read it out because it's not appropriate for what we're talking about, but there is a comment for you. So
yes, I have. He's got a lovely voice, and I love that song.
Okay, fair play. There you go, Steve P. Yeah, school's weird.
He also
isn't
did
it?
another cover of something I like, but I can't remember what it was.
JP, it says, more importantly, what do you think of the Deadpool 3 trailer? Do you think the Wolverine, the one who wouldn't kill Jean? The Wolverine trailer, I think, is really interesting. The Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, because I reckon that only shows about 5 minutes of the first 10 minutes of the film. I reckon that is literally, if you watch the trailer, you see nothing. I reckon that is all set in the first 10 minutes of the film. So I'm dead excited for it, but I don't think it actually showed much. I think it's a Wolverine that we haven't seen, because obviously his costume, so we haven't seen him. But the actual trailer doesn't show anything. It doesn't show anything.
I think the costume looks a little bit silly and a little bit too,
but it's a cartoon.
Bright.
But it's a cartoon.
But for this Hugh Jackman at this age.
No, sorry, you're wrong.
It's based on the original.
You're wrong. You're just wrong. Everything you just said was wrong, and I feel stupider for hearing you say it.
Well, stupid is not even a word.
Because
so
old people,
really
people get older, but they'll keep their costumes, won't they?
And but people dress more appropriately with age. I'm not going to be dressed like this when I'm 60.
Why though?
No, this is my thing, right?
Why though?
Oh, hang on, when we're 70 and that, are we going to start suddenly wearing cardigans?
I know, and suits, ill-fitting suits.
Nah, I'll be bollocks. We're going to wear trackies and stuff like
just
that.
because this is the
and then all the kids in the future wearing tin foil. They're going to be like, why are you wearing that?
This is the great dilemma of time, see. You always look at old. You always think, right, when I'm old, I'll look like that old person. Yeah, but I look at old people now who are that, and I go, well, they don't look like the old people.
Them, they
don't look like the old people that I remember.
Yeah,
because when people were in the 60s or 50s when I was younger, I bet if you go back 50 years and you get a picture of a 45-year-old, right, they wouldn't look like me. They wouldn't be sitting around in trendy jeans and trendy trainers and have tattoos and understand everything that's going on in the modern culture.
And a weird haircut.
Yeah, and have a very trendy haircut, which is getting cut tomorrow. This is just, it's a mess, yeah, I get that, but it's getting cut tomorrow. They'd look like proper old men, and if they went for a pint, they'd have a suit on and they'd have half a ciggy in the mouth and all that, whereas I don't drink alcohol and I'm running and, all these things. Do you know what I mean? You go back 50 years, your face would be covered in soot, because you'd be down the mines. So the idea of what you'll have to look like when you're older is just like.
Well, no, I'm not gonna. I know what you mean. I'm just saying I'm probably not gonna be wearing Monster X.
Why not?
I just feel
Monster X might grow. Yeah, but Monster X might grow up.
If they launch a cardigan line,
but Monster X might grow with you.
No, it might well do.
So people your age might look at you when you're 80 going, oh, look at him in his old man Monster X. Well, they'll be sat there.
Old man Monster X.
They'll be sat there in tin foil.
I reckon that'll be your nickname.
Wearing tin foil?
Because that's just, we just don't know.
I reckon that's going to be your nickname, Old Man Monster X.
Been called worse.
Mike Barrett says I got a cheese and onion pasty from Greg's the other day and was gutted because I actually wanted was a Sayers cheese. And see, everyone knows. The people know. The people know. I ate cheese.
Smelliest thing.
So the other week, my missus passed me something, and it was a cheese pasty, and I was just like,
yeah.
It was we were going to Scotland, and we were on the way up, and we stopped off, and there was a Greg's at a service station. And she just get me a couple of sausage rolls and a donut, standard, or whatever. And she gave me the pasty, and I went, oh yeah, it might be a meat pasty, and it was like,
I can't stand, like cheap cheese sauce.
I just cheese.
I like cheese in general, but like cheese filling, cheese sauce, disgusting. Cauliflower and cheese. I do not understand why you're putting cheese on a vegetable.
No,
that cheese,
macaroni and cheese, not a chance.
No, don't
not
like
a chance on it. Cheese when it's liquefied basically is terrible.
See, I think you could make a nice macaroni and cheese.
Whoa.
If
hang on. We just had a very controversial comment that I think needs to be addressed by the people in the room. Steve P says Montrix is absolute garbage. They get all their gear fresh from China and then just put their logo on it. Proper Instagram brand. There's loads of them with the exact same gear, different logos. Well, I'm just going to sit back and let you lads sort that out.
It's comfy and I think it looks good, and that's it at the end of the day for me.
There is
really.
loads of other brands with the same material.
Right. Can I just break this down just before we finish? Surely everything's made in China, and therefore all Nike gear is exactly this. Is basically a little bit better quality than that, right? With a Nike tick on.
We all pay for logos.
So
that is true.
Isn't that basically just the same thing? Like, yes, I get your point. Monterex is our version of it, and somewhere else will have another version of it. And Monterex has took off in Liverpool. And even when I was in Paris, they had Monterex in the JD shops. So it's obviously now branched out.
Nike have launched their own range of similar styles.
And fair play to them. They're like a couple of lads. I know one's an Evertonian. Fair play. They've done well for themselves. But the gear... there's loads of gear like that, but actually some of the newer gear is actually specially made. And as they grow and become bigger, the stuff will become more bespoke and they'll design more of the stuff and it'll
the reason it took off so well in Liverpool is because it's got similarities to a brand called Missoni, if you're familiar with it. People wear like going out clothes and that.
Cheaper.
And it was like that same sort of design, but for like leisure wear or the type of clothes that a lot of us like. And they were actually, there's probably other brands doing similar, but they were the first to make
exactly,
it big
and it got big and fair play to them. And Steve P, yes, you can go on DHgate and you can buy anything, mate, anything, absolutely anything on DHgate. I appreciate that, but also I was in JD on Saturday, and I walked over to the Monterex stuff just to have a little look at it. I was looking at like running stuff, looking for running stuff. And some of the stuff was really like nice, not necessarily stuff I'd buy now. I've got loads of Monterex, but most of it doesn't fit me because it was stuff I'd bought. Because when I was bigger, it actually fits really nicely. It's good fat person gear, and most of it doesn't fit me now. I wear a couple of tops for running in, but the gear's quite nice. It's nice, like chilled out. Jack's always got it on. Ned's got. You got a Monterex on today? There you go. Both of them, all the kids wear it. Like my nephew, it's like hardware wearing gear that you can just throw on. Honestly, it's...
And what I'd say as well is every brand in the world that's popular is what you could call an Instagram brands, because that's what fashion is, unfortunately. It's people wear it because it's popular and they see it and they like it. That's just fashion.
Ultimately, most kids or people of a certain age, they will wear all the same stuff. People don't like to be like massively individual.
Somebody commented that Ned dresses like an Al Biff already.
Yeah, he does. You do. I mean, both of you did come in literally the same clothes today, didn't you?
I mean, to be fair, we've both got the same G. Like, he's wearing it, I'm not wearing it, man. We've got very similar Monterex.
Real ons on today.
And he's
got real ons on today. Fair play.
They cost $180 them.
Dollars.
No different to your other ones.
Yeah. So you mentioned dollars to make them more expensive.
Feel the same.
And listen, other stuff is there. Like, I've got, like, typically when I come in here, I just wear my Toffee TV stuff because it's like work gear.
When I gig and stuff, I wear proper trendy.
And I've got this stuff's quite good.
I wear like Pretty Green and Fred Perry stuff.
Do you? I don't know why that's any better.
No.
I like the Burgos stuff as well. I've had Burgos since I was a kid, and I like Burgos gear as well. But what you've probably found is Burgos has probably been bought about 4 times by 4 different things, and it's just a name at the end of the day, isn't it? There's a lot of brands like that. But that's it. That's it. Right. There we go. Fazza says, I miss the 80s casual top days in gazelles.
I
but
still
you
wear
can
gazelles.
still wear that though.
I still wear gazelles.
You can still, but again, though, when you think about it, in the 80s, when everyone was wearing 80s casuals and they all had feeler trackies and you were all just still wearing the same gear. It was all the same gear, just slightly different. You were wearing feeler jumpers or whatever, but you were all wearing the same gear. The gear now is just a lot more functional. And people are like less. People feel like everyone's wearing like big, mad, chunky trainees now, and it's like there's a time when it'd be like, why are you wearing them? They're horrendous. But now people are like, no, because actually they're functional and they're comfy, so it makes more sense.
There was a time when I think like on trainees would have been looked at as like, whoa, what's that?
Exactly.
Why does it look like a transformer? But you know,
and yet I'm wearing like quite smart trainees now, and I feel slightly weird about that. Like I'm the one who's the weird one.
Well, you are the oldest in the room. You have got to lead by some example.
Yeah, and someone actually did ask me before about Saucony trainees. I've got Saucony on, and they're mine a little bit. I'm a 12, but these feel big for a 12. But what it did do, have you seen Decathlon in town?
Yeah,
which is a cracking sports shop, by the way. Right,
never been in.
Should go in, and if you go in the trainee department, there's a foot scanner. And you can stand on it, and it tells you how big your feet is, what the girth is, all these different things. I know.
Is it just feet?
Yeah, just feet. I don't know how far it scans up. All these different things about like your feet. Also, one of my feet is bigger than the other.
Right, by much?
About 3 millimeters.
3 inches big.
3 inches bigger. So yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot going on. There you go. Sorry, I'm just having one very quick. We're going to go and do the match preview now, so...
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so... There you go. Right. There you go. Right, we're going to go. We've got stuff to do. Danny says, Ned, get the effing doctors, lad. I've told them.
Spoke to them, man. Spin the emergency.
You didn't speak to... Did you speak to your doctor?
No, you can't get it.
No, did you speak to your doctors?
No.
Right. Ring your doctors in the morning, right? What happens is, this is what happens in the doctors. They always keep an hour where you can, for walk-ins, right? It's generally like Wednesdays between like 8 and 9 or 9 and 10. And they'll say to you, get in here tomorrow at 8:30 and the doctor will see you. Ringing the emergency number or the non-emergency number, it doesn't matter. You've got to ring your doctors and say, I need to come in and get this sorted right now. I've been bad for 3 weeks, layer on really thick, and I guarantee they'll say, come in tomorrow. You might wait a little bit, but they'll see you. Honestly.
I just want some antibiotics.
And that's what the doctor will give you. But you have to see your doctor to get antibiotics. And you have to ring your doctors.
This woman yesterday was like, stop being a bitch. She was like, wait 3 months, and if you're still bad, then get in your doctor.
But your Ned, for anyone who doesn't know, is had a cough for 3 weeks, and he's still barfing his lungs up. And considering one of his jobs is a singer, and the other job is sometimes coming on and doing shows.
It was awful on the weekend. Because I was coughing constantly. I got dehydrated dead quick when I was singing. So then I got a really bad migraine when I was singing. It was horrible. Proper bad pain.
So go to the doctors, please, Ned.
You need to ring your doctors. Ringing the out of hours line or 101 or whatever it is. They just tell you what, like, if you just wait 3 months, you'll be dead in 3 months if this carries on.
That's what I said.
Yeah. And I'm not carrying your coughing because you're a fat bitch.
You know, you won't catch me cough. It's non-contagious.
That's it. I'm not catching him. I'm not carrying your coughing.
How can you carry it if you can't catch it?
No, you're
coughing.
When you die, your wooden box.
Oh, I thought you meant me.
I'm not carrying your coughing. You're coughing.
You're not invited.
You're a fat bitch.
You're not invited to my coffee.
Let's wrap this up.
Not invited to my party.
Your party?
Oh, it will be a party.
There you go. Right, on that note, we're going to the match preview. Thank you for watching. Toffee TV Premier members, 5 o'clock. Let's have your Tuesday topics sent in, please. Videos. It's not it's not about the high pollen. This is about a genuine illness that Ned has got. There you go. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.